So I've made a list of the main meta weapons and some extras, and I will just review them all in this video, but first the gunsmiths, and I just don't care to bring them up later, like you can screenshot whichever you want now, because I think it is silly like to make you screenshot while watching and just take pauses, go back and forth, whatever. So yeah. And once you're done with the screenshots, we will go through the weapons and sections. Because I divided meta in some pretty nice sections, I believe, and it should help you understand overall meta game and how to choose what to choose for your loadouts. And so the very first, the top meta weapon right now is the USS-9, and it is simply an SMG, a aggressive variant of the Rage, you can say. It has good damage, good range, good mobility, very easy to use, and it is simply just the top weapon at the moment. There is nothing else really that can be said about it. And frankly, I'm personally starting to get bored of it, like it is just too simple in my opinion. But regardless, it is a really main meta gun at the moment, and you should certainly have a loadout with USS-9. Because you will be in situations where you are dealing against sweaty enemy teams and you simply have to use it. Moving on, we have the SKS and Type 63. Now, they both are extremely powerful. They are semi-auto marksman rifles, but they have the same problem that if you're playing on phone with only like 2-3 fingers, you simply will not be able to utilize them to the full power. For instance, I play with 3 fingers and I only recorded casual gameplay because in ranked I really am not ready yet. I cannot use them that well. But otherwise, SKS basically has better range and better damage. Type 63 it does not have as good of a range and damage, but the time delay between the clicks when you're shooting is lesser. So you can just fire more shots in the same like time compared to SKS. And whichever is better, well, it really depends on your preference. But if you're not using like many fingers or even a tablet, iPad, whatever device, you may just not use it, like it's understandable. And that concludes the metaest of the meta section. And we are going down to Odin. And I'm putting Odin in front of BP-50 because it is really just stronger, it can take down USS-9s, it has very good damage. Now the downsides are that it is quite slow compared to other weapons like movement, ADS time, etc. And you only have 25 bullets mag. If you add extra bullets it will become even slower. So I really suggest just using 25 mag, as it is kind of enough, but like I said, it is just a difference compared to other weapons. And then we have the Rage, which is like I said a slower variant of USS-9. However, it is still a valid meta choice. Because it has good range, good damage, it is great for versatile playstyle. Like with USS-9 you are very aggressive. With the Rage you can take it slow and be a bit more like passive aggressive. Now to explain the branches, these two are like main options. And GQS it is essentially faster variant of the Rage with not as good damage, but it has really nice bullet spread accuracy and range. So it is kind of like in between, it is like a mix of USS-9 and the Rage. And it is usable, but both of them are just better options. But it's like if you really want, you can play with the GQS. It is not like god awful or anything. Next we move to the branch of BP-50. And after the nerf it is certainly not as good as it was before, but it still has a fast firing rate and a huge mag. At least I prefer using the 60 rounds mag because I can spray bullets at my enemies, and it helps when playing with a bad team because I can kind of just get like extra kills by just spamming bullets, maybe free an OBG, etc. And the 30 round damage mag, well, I tried it, I made a video earlier, but there is a problem that it is really not good at range, you don't have the spam ability of the bullets, and in such case you can just use HVK. And I've placed HVK here because it is kind of a mix of the Rage and BP-50. and it has 28 bullets damage mag, great range, fast firing rate, and it used to be the top-notch super duper uber meta, but at the moment both USS-9, BP-50, well, and Odin, they are just easier to use and, well, I cannot say stronger, but they are like on a similar level, just easier to use. So for this reason HVK is no longer the top-notch meta, even though it is like still capable, but it takes some brains, some skill to use it properly. Now next I placed here PDW. It does not often appear in like big YouTuber top meta recommendations, and I think it could be because like statistically BP50 is stronger. However, even though the fire rate max size is not as good as BP50s, but PDW it has way better mobility, DS time, and you will see many good players using it in ranked. It is very powerful. It is essentially a faster variant of BP50 that does not kill as quickly. But the speed of the movement, it really can pay off when you have to be aggressive, when you're fighting against enemies who are moving around, who know what they're doing, who try to pre-aim and shoot at you, and you can just do a bit of a strafing. So it is a really very valid meta choice. And we have PP90 Bison, which has huge mag, good range, very easy recoil, and it is a very pleasant, very easy, simple gun to use. I put it in the branch with BP50 because we are just like very similar, except of course PP90 Bison does not kill enemies as fast, so like you can use it, but you can just use BP50 and not use any of these. And then MG42, it is a strong LMG that has a firing rate even faster compared to BP50, a huge mag, but it is awfully slow in terms of ADS time and movement, and it is great to be like a team support where you don't have to aggressively push everywhere. However, most of the time, especially when I play with randoms, I just don't have a luxury of not pushing everywhere, and I have actually lost some games where I MVP'd with many kills with MG42, but I just could not hold like as many OBGs, I could not get to the next OBG on time, and so I would say that it is a great valid meta option, but only if your team knows what they're doing. And if your team does not know what they're doing but you really want an LMG, Holger 26, it does not have as fast of a firing rate, but it has better mobility, better ADS time, and we both have the disabled perk at full use. So it is also a very good meta option that is kind of underlooked or overlooked. I don't know which word, but basically not getting the deserved attention. Yeah. And if you want a more aggressive PP90 Bison, you can try CBR4. It was buffed, it is good. But like this third section are guns that are like okay, but just not as good. These would be the main. This list is the main meta, and these are like good but kind of secondary meta. Now we have a branch of assault rifles, and I placed XM4 as the best. Because first when I used it I played for like 5 hours, I made one video, but I only had the epic variant back then and I kind of stopped using it. And after buying the mythic and playing for like 13 hours in total, I started to realize that it is actually very good. Like it is a more aggressive variant of Type 19, and that is pretty powerful. And also there are a few different gunsmith variations. You can use the task force barrel, you can use the heavy barrel, like customize your builds. I also made a video where I reviewed a few different builds. And so yeah, I'm putting it as the best. For like regular assault rifles, then we have the Type 19, but I used it even more, I think 14 hours, maybe longer, this season, and it really just often feels way too slow. Because we no longer have the Apocalypse map, you don't have the Diesel, we don't have Domination mode altogether, and in the current meta aggressive weapons we are better, or like high damage like Odin. And so KN44 is basically a slightly more aggressive Type 19 variant as well. It does not have as good accuracy like or range, but it deals decent damage and is just faster mobility wise, ADS time wise. So I put it here like a bit higher, and you can really give it a try. LK24, it received a new free legendary this season. Some YouTubers brought it like in the meta list. It is usable, you can have a build like that is faster, but I think that the best one would be a slower range build. And then, I will say it again, a slower range build. So even type 19 is a bit too slow right now, so that is even slower. And for this reason it is in the third section. And moving on, we have the Grau, which is basically a aggressive assault rifle. And it is kind of similar to XM4, maybe like a more aggressive Type 19 variant as well. But the thing is that PP90 Bison is essentially a Grau 556 variant that has better movement, better ADS time, because Grau is an assault rifle. Now Grau, it has better range, but it is slower in terms of mobility, in terms of ADS, and so in such case you can use Grau if you want, but then you should ask yourself why not PP90 Bison. Like, it is essentially Grau, just quicker. And in current meta situation that is an advantage, and it has a bigger mag. Finally we have aggressive SMGs, and I put CX9 as the top one, simply because it has huge mag, is very easy to use, good ADS time, great mobility, and it also has better range compared to like Fennec. And for that reason, the range is also a very nice thing to have more range even for an aggressive SMG, because you can kill some enemy who is not like looking directly at you, and therefore like clear a lane or even a BG area. Meanwhile with Fennec, if you're shooting at an enemy from afar, it will be harder, you will have more recoil and you will give enemy time to just react. And so just the added versatility is why I'm putting CX9 here. But otherwise Fennec is also very powerful. It is a best aggressive close range SMG. And the downsides would be that it does not have like a notably good range and only 40 bullets. And you kind of need the mythic for the best iron sight in recoil situation, or at least a legendary. And then we have the Switchblade X9, and it is basically kind of like a mix of CX9 and Fennec. It has good mobility, does not kill as fast as the Fennec, but has like more range. But like in such case you can just use CX9 like, or Fennec. It's kind of in between variant which is not really needed. But at the same time, the fact that it is like in between, it makes it a valid choice to use if you want to use it. And then QQ9 with the damage mag. I've tried it, and frankly, it is usable, it is good, but like it kind of just feels like HVK variant, just the SMG form. And I don't really see much of a point to use it instead of simply using HVK. But it is usable, but like I said, just there are like better options, so it is in the third branch. And then I wrote shotguns and snipers because they are kind of usable. You can snipe, you can shotgun, but shotguns they are only good at like very close ranges. So basically one tap variant of a Fennec. And like I said, even Fennec is not that great, because we need the versatility of the range. And snipers will use these. Or you can snipe because you get the option of like one-tapping enemy, but it is hard to just play OBG, and so you will have to just do a bit of like sniping for whatever reason, just maybe clear lanes, maybe try to empty an OBG like in Shoot House, but unless you're switching loadouts and doing some rushing in between sniping, it is just bad for your team. Like, you will get your sniper montage, but you will lose the game because you spent the match sniping from somewhere while teammates were losing against enemies who were taking the point. So generally I would say don't snipe, or at least like snipe, switch to a assault rifle, SMG, whatever, clear OBG, switch back to sniper and continue sniping. And finally we have the fourth branch, basically Man of War in the zone of Odin, because Thermite Mag kind of has the same principle, just to kill enemies like quickly while having a small mag. But Thermite Mag, I think it is just stupid, and if enemy has Dauntless, then you simply don't kill them. Like, I played against a team of 5 Man of War Thermite users, they had Dauntless, they did nothing to me. And I think that the gun is just, Thermite Mag is super stupid. Like, you just have to switch to a loadout with Dauntless. But if you're not using Dauntless and you're maybe recording gameplay with a loadout, then it is annoying because the gameplay is gone. You just have to Dauntless and just destroy them. And then from the BP50 section we have FFAR-1, which is second fastest firing assault rifle, so right after BP50, and 13 would be the third. And AK-117 is a fast firing assault rifle from like earlier times. And they are all like kind of good, but just not good enough. But if you really want to use them, you kind of can. And PKM, I saw videos where YouTubers were saying like, yeah, it is great, la la la, good for like holding angles, lanes, but not in the current hardpoint meta. You cannot just be passive, you need to be as versatile as possible, or just straight up aggressive, or like aggressively rush to a BG and then sit there. You cannot just slowly move, like I said with the MG42. And well, if you are playing with a good team where you have the luxury of being a bit more passive, then just use MG42. And wait for meta to change to use PKM. Then from assault rifles we have AK-47, EM2, Krieg-6, and I've recently been seeing Kilo 141 being used, which is really nice and I cannot wait to try it out, as it is my favorite mythic weapon. So they are, like, I would say they are usable, but just not as good as the top meta options or the third line. But yeah, I'm intrigued about the Kilo 141, so I wrote it down here because I will be checking it out. I haven't yet, but I will. And here I just listed some SMGs like Cordite, MX9, QXR, OTS9. They are good. Well, Cordite and QXR, they are not like aggressive SMGs, so they technically should be like alongside the PP90 Bison in this lane, but I just thought that since it is BP50 section, it would be better to just put them here. And they are like all kind of usable, all these are usable, but just not real meta, so... Well, Mana War, it is kind of meta, just super annoying, and like you lose against Dauntless pack. So you can try to use it, maybe take down a stealth chopper, whatever, but if your enemies are using Dauntless, just don't use it. And so, but these, we are like okay to use, but just these also are like okay to use. So these are like lesser than these. Yeah. And then, so what we have here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main sections, and each of them has branches. And that means that if you choose 2 loadouts from each of them, then you have 10 loadouts. Now let's say you're not using the SKS and Type 63, that gives you a spare slot, so you have 9 loadouts. Now from aggressive SMGs, I would say you don't need more than 1. Like, just choose any one from these and only use. You don't have to have like CX9 and SX9 or Fennec and SX9, it just doesn't matter. Like, we have the same purpose, just choose any one. So basically here we have 1 slot. Here I would say that since there are like different options, you can have 2. So 3, then definitely 2 from here because it is quite versatile. So we have 3, 4, 5. I would say 6, 7 because the reach is great, Odin is great, and then 8. And 3 slots for whatever else you want. And yeah, so that would be the main meta, and this is how I would go and like slot them, and that gives me 3 extra slots in my loadout, so for like video making, whatever, or something from here. And I think that yeah, you could like take a picture of this and just check these sometimes, and just don't make mistakes where like you dedicate half of your loadouts for like one section, because essentially they have like a very similar purpose. You don't need to put them all in your loadouts. Like HVK, PDW, Bison, MG42, just why? No point. You can just go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, or like 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Yeah. So that would be the conclusion. And finally, I actually used all these, and except the SKS and Type 63. Like I said at the start, the gameplay I had from casual, but I recorded videos with like all of them, and all others were in the ranked lobbies. And I kind of intended to put them in this video, like as I'm talking, there would be in like earlier section, like you would see this part, and this would be the video. with the gameplay, but it would take me ages to edit, like maybe half a day. I'm using phone editor app, so yeah, I just decided I will not be including the gameplay here. Maybe I'll just use it for like separate videos throughout the season, the remaining part of the season. So yeah, I guess I apologize for not including them, but it would really be too much. I just hope that getting all this review was helpful and that you've learned something.